What is going on, guys? Chisgule here, and today we're gonna smash the new levels of Expedition in the latest update. I'm pumped about it. We tried to do a live stream. For some reason, OBS, YouTube, one of them isn't working. We tried to make it work. We couldn't. So instead, we're recording, and we've now got a time constraint. We've got a mad dash to get to level 80, complete it before reset. So here we go, baby. Starting with 71. We've got some buffs going. We kind of fat fingered the small army expansion, so hopefully that's fine. Hopefully that's fine. We've got infantry, and let's bring cavalry, and let's bring, I don't know. Archer sounds good. How about Barca, baby? Who's Barca going to pair with? Freddy. And what kind of troops do I want to bring? It's got to be mixed. Little of this, little of this, little of this. Sure. What the hey? We can only bring 5 armies, so CPO seems good, and having a Joan of Arc at the party seems even better, and bada boom. 5 full armies with T5, baby. This should be a piece of cake. Let's get this started. Now, the way I just set that up is probably not the very best way to approach it. We should have our tank army go first. Gosh, it's been so long since we've done Expedition. This is fun. Let's kill Yi Ye first, because that just seems terrifying. Let's redirect our attention onto the Yi Ye army. Bunch of techniques that make your cruising through Expedition go smoother. Among them is as follows. First and foremost, you want to have a bunch of buffs. You want to pop a token to get a buff. You want to get a rune if one's available. Right now, one is not available up for us, so we're going to just do the best we can here. And focusing down armies really goes a long way in this game mode. I don't know why it didn't select all my armies when I just did that. Okay. Apparently, can I double tap to select all armies? Gosh, I can't. Well, today I learned in Expedition, certain things don't work the way they used to. Oh, wait, the way they do other places. That's what I mean. Now let's manually make all these armies. You can drag from the side, so that seems pretty good. We're going to focus down Saladin next. It looks like it's a Saladin Cao Cao pairing. You can see here we're taking down the Richard last because, I mean, like, come on. Richard's tanky AF, so we'll deal with him later. Here we go, switching it up, focusing our attention on to the Cao Cao. We've got T5, so this is easy peasy stuff. And hopefully we didn't actually need that 50% army expansion. That'd be really swell, because we fat fingered the 25% army expansion. LOL. Now, I'm not sure this army is actually engaged. Let's confirm that we have it. There we go. There we go. This is going to drop pretty darn quickly. When we live stream later this evening, we're going to cover a lot of awesome stuff, including, but not limited to, the new commanders in this update, because they are freaking sweet, baby. Now let's claim these rewards. Part of the reason we're trying to get this done before reset is to claim all of this extra currency that we're going to get. And of course, along the way, we get some extra sculptures. Now, boom, piece of cake. This should be easy peasy. Let's do a little preview here. We can see what we're up against. There's the Richard Charles. There's the Yi Ye Sid. We're going to focus that down after we deal with, after we deal with the Minamoto Cao Cao army. Minatao first. Then, see, we don't want to activate El Cid's 4th skill, but he's not expertise. Let's go for the El Cid. Here we go. Let's start this bad boy. We're starting. It's cruising. Who goes in first? Barca's going to be second. Let's get Tank Army in first. Now, Barca's going to come in, and I'm going to target here because I think my AoE will go over there. And bada boom. Focus this army down. Now, optimally in your Expedition, you want to pull in every single army. So I'd really love this additional army, there we go, to get pulled in. And that is because you need them to start taking that incidental counterattack damage every time an army is attacked. You do a counterattack as well. And so they're taking damage now, even though we're not focused on them, which is very, very powerful. We've also got those Joan of Arc buffs rolling, which is really, really crucial for this game mode. Whoo-wee, that Cid is melting fast. Now, if you are focusing down El Cid, which is not necessarily a thing I would advise, then You want to make sure that once they hit that 50% health mark, you really burst them down quickly because El Cid is going to have a huge damage boost, upwards of 25% when they're below 50% health. So the second they get low, you want to focus them down, and that is exactly what we're doing here. Bada boom, Cids are out of the fight. Now we're focused in on the weakest army remaining on the field, and weakest in terms of how well they take damage, and that's the Minamoto army. Cavalry are squishy AF, so we're going to take those out really quickly. And lastly, we'll focus in on this Richard the First, who is going to get smashed. Super, super smashed. I think every army is attacking here. Are we good? We're good, baby. They're going down fast. Man, I wonder how tough the last level of this is going to be. I mean, we've got some pretty stacked commanders. Like, you can't do a whole heck of a lot better than what we've got right now. Here we go. Ooh, it's already neck and neck. Are you for real? Man, I'm going to be sad I used a 25% army expansion. Let's see what we got on the battlefield. Oh, man. El Cid with Freddy. There's a Constantine. And there's some buffing going on with El Cid. Ooh, Mehmed, some AoE. Let's take out the El Cid Cleopatra, since that's going to do a lot of healing. Let's get our tank army to handle the damage here. Richard the First, make your way in. And now, all the armies on their way over. Boom, boom, and boom. Here we go. AoE is obviously very spectacular. It's possible that with our Barca, we should use Sun Tzu. I might switch it up to do that. In fact, I'm very likely to switch it up to do that because AoE is just so gosh darn good. And we're just taking out the buffer from the enemy side because those buffs seem like they're going to be very, very strong in this sort of a configuration. We're not too worried right now about dodging AoE. Perhaps we should be. But so far, it says it was even, but this is pretty one-sided. We're going to focus in now all of our attention to the cavalry unit. I think there's another El Cid. There is on the battlefield. We're not too worried about that just yet. Once El Cid gets down to 50%, however, that's going to be really important to focus down. So we're going to shift our focus now to the El Cid. Bada boom, every single army focused on El Cid to make that really, really quick in terms of doing damage. Mehmed the Second, man, that's pretty beefy. I don't know. It said this was even, and there's nothing even about this. This is a certifiable steamroll. I wasn't even paying attention. We finished off the other army. I wanted to target the Mehmed, although it's got Richard as the secondary, so I'm not too worried about it. Instead, we hit the Constantine. Look at that heal. You see that big heal? That's what happens when Constantine gets low. So now we really need to burst Constantine down. I mean, it's not like this is going to take an hour, so I guess we don't really have to burst Constantine down. And what's interesting is that the armies in this game mode aren't going to run away. So one technique you can use is to basically get the NPCs to hit you, and you can sort of finish them off later. Once they get low health, you want to spread the damage around evenly as long as your troop health is looking pretty good, and for us it was. Now we're up to level 74. This should be neck and neck. I doubt it will be. We're just going to start. What do we got here? What do we got? Oh, we got to split up. All right. Let's have the CPO go over this way, and we'll have... Oh, I can select all the armies. That was interesting. Oh, okay, cool. We can. I don't know why I didn't feel like I was able to do that before. Let's send our Minamoto over here to do some surgical work on this one army. And I feel pretty good about the army that we're hitting here. I also feel pretty good about not having activated this Yi Seong-Ye. Oh, well, here he comes. The AoE damage will be real, although it's not yet. It's not quite yet. Theoretically, I could drag this fight so that the tankiness of this army and the buffs would benefit the army over here, but not too worried about it at the moment. I also theoretically could have made my CPO army a little more tanky by bringing all infantry, but so far looking so good. Taking down armies, easy peasy over here in the expedition. This Yi Seong-Ye army is going to go down in a second. Possible we should have focused down the Cao Cao army first, But there we go. That army is down. Looking back off to the side over here, our armies are mostly topped off, so we're feeling pretty good about our chances in beating Expedition with just the 25% army expansion, which, saves me some gems. Saves me a little bit of gems. There we go. Another army down. Switching our focus. Can I even target it? Can I even target it? There we go. There we go. Ooh, CPO army got to half health. That's not amazing. That's less amazing. Yeah, looking good. Wait a minute. We got armies standing still. Get in on the action. Get in on the action. All right. Those are all the armies, so I feel pretty good about that. Feeling pretty good. Victory indeed. Bada boom. Every day we get more goodies by virtue of beating these missions, so I feel pretty good about that. Ooh, now this level should be harder. Ooh, one tough army. One tough army. Let's just start. This is a piece of cake. This is a piece of cake. Except Isong Ye does AoE, so that's going to be interesting. Let's get tank army in first. I suppose tanking with infantry into archers is not amazing. And let's get all the other armies to maybe go behind. Let's see if we can get all the other armies to go behind. We'll see how successful we are with that. Let's get this guy to look this way. If we can make that happen. There we go. Look the other way, and now we beat in. Bada boom, and we avoid all the AoE. Doing work. Doing work. Oh, no. Except one of my armies is going to walk right into the AoE. Come on. Do I care enough to move it? Probably not, because this is supposed to be easy. Although, those archers are doing some legit work on my infantry, which is, the thing they're supposed to do. That is the thing they're supposed to do very, very well. So far, turns out T5 are really good in the expedition, and we have like barely any T4 at all, I think, in this. Feeling pretty good. I feel like maybe we could go with a more damaging primary commander. We probably could go with a more damaging primary commander than our CPO. I don't know. So far, so good. So far, so good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll stick with what we got here for now. For now. Bada boom. I mean, what'd that take? Like a minute to beat this? Easy. Legendary commander sculpture. More daily goodies. And we're up to 76. Cruising along nicely. This is theoretically neck and neck. I'll believe it when I see it. Time's not an issue, so we don't need to do a lot of strategizing before this starts. Let's send the Richard off to the middle, and let's send really every army. Just take out Isong Ye. I don't want to deal with that AoE. There's two Isong Ye's. Theoretically, I could do some positioning that's a little more strategic. How about actually sending my own Isong Ye into the battle? That would be strategic. So there's stuff we could do to avoid all our armies getting hit here, and we're not doing it. And I'm not worried about it. I'm also really kind of honey badger at the moment with that. We've got all our armies selected. As soon as this Isong Ye is dead, let's take out the other one because AoE is just really savage. So this first Isong Ye is going to be eliminated, although it's taking longer than it did before. Bada boom. Let's focus down the next Isong Ye. Possible we should have gone for the Cao Cao army, which is really weak. We will definitely take a look at that next. And we're just getting sick AoE value right now with our Isong Ye that's expertised. I mean, glorious, glorious value. Oh yeah, just super melted. Bada boom. The advantage of focusing down single armies is that when they get weaker, your relative high number of troops does serious damage to their small number of troops. So we're creating that situation kind of as rapidly as we can with each of these armies that we're battling. And bada boom, Cao Cao's down. Now we focus down Saladin. And theoretically, we can do the technique I was describing moments ago, which is that when Saladin gets low, we can swap our attention to a different commander, and he'll basically zero himself on our troops with his basic attacks. And our incidental AoE will likely finish off the job. So now that Saladin is red, we're switching our focus over to the Richard I. We're letting our AoE finish off the Saladin. Let's see how well that strategy pans out. We see the Barca AoE hit. We see the Yi Sung-Ye AoE hitting. I don't know that it's quite doing the job. As long as that army doesn't have healing, then this is fine as a technique. AoE doing work. And I don't think it actually makes sense. Look at that. That actually worked out pretty well. Almost exactly as I drew up the plan. Haha. Except now I can't find this army to target it. Where are you, Saladin? How the heck do I hit you? There we go. Boom. Success. Success indeed. And now we continue on to 77. Progress being made. It says it's even. I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, look at that formation. All right. All right, I see you. Richard the First, let's send you in first. And now let's just get everybody else into the party. I mean, their attention's all going to be looking downward. Now we're going to smash hard on their AoE, which I don't know that we even need to focus down initially because, like, they're not expertised. I don't think they're expertised. Let's see if they are. Are they expertised? Is it? No, I couldn't see. I gotta pay more close attention. Is it expertised? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now let's focus down the... I don't actually... I changed my mind. I did El Cid, but I'd really much rather do this Minamoto. Cao Cao pairing. Our tank army taking some serious damage here. T5 infantry taking damage. Pretty impressive, quite frankly. Some of these harder difficulties are going to be pretty fierce. They're going to be pretty fierce. I mean, I positioned my Barca to take... Or not Barca. I positioned my Richard to take all the damage. So it's not too surprising that he's getting low. The thing is that at some point, we're going to get so far ahead that he's going to stabilize and then heal back up, which is pretty impressive, actually. Pretty soon, he's going to start to heal back up. Okay, so he's at 150,000 units. Let's see if we get to the point where he starts going back to positive. Yeah, he's back to 151. Okay, now he's below. Let's see if he goes... He's going to shoot back up, though, right? There's the... Oh, no, I guess not. I guess he's not healing back up just yet. He probably will soon, though. He's sustaining really well, though. That army is. Bada boom. Final army. 77. It's nothing. T5. T5 is the teamwork that makes the dream work. How did that army not get involved? How did one army not get involved, but all the other armies did? Anyways, I'm liking these combos. The only thing I would change is that I really don't need Scipio here. Like, I could use something more aggressive, and I think I'm going to make that change out now. Let's pick something more aggressive. Oh, yeah, this should be Boudica. Yeah, baby. Let's get Boudica in on this action. Do peacekeeping talents work here? Do those work here? I'm not sure they do. Let's lay down the challenge. Our armies are split. Let's keep the same combos, because I think we'll have two tank armies on different sides. Let's see how that works out. We've got our Richard the First over here, and Mehmed we're going to work on in the back. And off to the side over here, yeah, we've got the three armies. There's an El Cid. Let's focus that down. Let's focus that down, making sure that our tank army gets the majority of the attention, which they did. Oh, there's two El Cids? Okay. Okay, sure enough. There we go. Now, theoretically, we could position this army behind, which might be a worthwhile activity. So let's just do that real quick because it's so fast. Bada boom. Get a little bit of extra value over there. This side of the map is kind of hard to see what's going on, but it looks like it's going pretty well so far. Pretty well so far. Possible we could position the Barca to get better value if we target, like, here. Will we hit all three anyways? I think we will. So now we're going to hit all three. We're not putting primary damage into the El Cid army, which I really would prefer, but we're now hitting all three targets for sure with that AoE. There's the elephants, and I don't know that the AoE actually hit them all. Well, good enough. Good enough. Our tank armies and our armies over there are totally fine. So now we're going to focus on the next El Cid army. We're going to swap our tank army to do that now. And the first El Cid army, is going to be down. Ooh, I didn't see there was a Cleo in there doing some healing. I'm definitely going to want to focus that down. There we go. And it's a little bit tricky to control the armies here, but we're going to focus down that healing. Off over here, we can see, look at that damage going from Yi Seong-Ye doing work on both of the armies at the same time, just burning them down, and the infinite sustain of the Richard Charles combo. Beautiful, beautiful. The new commanders, by the way, are just going to be so busted good for this game mode. So busted good. The shield on multiple armies from Alexander the Great just seems so incredible. And this is going very, very well. We're going to swap these over to now focus on Constantine. These two armies are going to go down almost at the same time. In fact, we're going to switch up our attention to sort of make that happen. All right, they're already dead, whatever. This is looking pretty darn good. This is looking pretty darn good. In fact, I kind of feel like I could swap my DPS over to speed up the other side a little bit. I don't know that I need to do that, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Overall, you can see that these combos are working really nicely, but we're also sort of overpowering it with T5 and sort of with an army expansion. Granted, there's no rune from the kingdom that was available, so we don't have a rune. And now we're going to send these armies off over here. I doubt they'll make it in time, but Constantine is a pretty tanky commander. It's possible we should have taken out Constantine first, because Constantine does a 10% AoE damage reduction. So that maybe should have been the play. That maybe should have been the play. We've got both armies making their way over. Dude, these infantry hoofing it with the expertise Martel, and they actually get there in time to get in a few hits. I mean, hey. Success, easy peasy, looking good. 2 more to go. Here we go, level 79. This is neck and neck, and it's just all the armies in a row. That seems pretty straightforward. Let's have one tank army get to the front, try to take the brunt of the damage, and then the other armies can sneak off to the side to take out this Yi Seong-Ye, hopefully avoiding much of the AoE and other damage that's going to come from these other armies, while the counterattack from Charles and Richard does serious work on those armies that are attacking them. So there we go. We see that exact setup I was envisioning starting to unfold. Perhaps we're taking a little more damage with this army than we really need to. If we want to be sort of fancy, we can move them back over here and then select them like so. I'm not able to exactly feel like I'm targeting the army I want. There we go. Let's get the one I really wanted. Bada boom. Fully taking advantage of our position on the battlefield. Now, after this army is defeated, we can focus in on the next DPS army, which we're going to just go in order to minimize the amount we have to move around the field. That's going to be the Cao Cao with Khan, which is a pretty cool combo. I would run that combo in the opposite order, Khan with Cao Cao, but the AI doesn't know that, and we're actually going to redirect our attention off over here, so we make sure that we're hopefully hitting 3 armies with our AoE debuffs from Richard the First. Now, we're going to focus our attention on the Yi Seong-Ye combo. Bada boom. Get all these armies in on the action. Get those buffs rolling again. And once again, we're not perfectly positioned here. We've got a lot of armies taking damage that don't need to. We're winning by enough that we don't need to worry about it for now, which is a high quality situation. Definitely a high quality situation. This commander's getting burned down pretty darn quickly. Feeling good about that. We're going to switch it up to Khan next, then Richard last. And, the reason we're doing that is because they're the tank army, right? So we don't want to devote our attention to the tank army. The only reason you'd want to do that is because of the debuff from Richard. It's actually pretty substantial, 40% attack reduction. But you know what? We'll eat that for now. If we were really worried about it, we'd reposition, and it would be less of an issue. Moral of the story so far has been that if you've got the T5, Expedition's pretty straightforward, and I'm eager to see what this last level is going to throw at us. We'll probably make a few commander tweaks and see how that goes. Once again, I could have used Boudica here. Boudica would have been a little bit better than our CPO, but whatever. Here we go. Our tank army looking pretty good. They're down to only 79,000 units. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Let's see if they heal back up faster than they take damage. Back up to 79,000, which is a good sign. And let's see here. Now they're up to 80,000. See, we crossed the threshold where they actually heal faster than they're taking damage, which is pretty impressive. Part of that is because all these armies are doing a lot of debuffs, which is pretty handy. Here we go again. Bada boom, healing back up. 82,000. We're doing it, baby. We're doing it. Healing back up. And now we gear up for the final conflict. The final conflict. Oh, baby. These folks getting smashed. Bada boom. Yes. Yes, indeed. Excellent. Okay. Final level of expedition. What are we up against? Ooh, Khan. Let's get a preview. Khan Saladin. Ooh. Okay, so theoretically, bringing infantry to this fight seems really good. And let's swap out some of these commanders. Instead of Scipio, let's get Boudica in on the action. Theoretically, I guess that means we bring slightly fewer troops, but that's fine. And I don't think I actually want to make any other commander substitutions. I feel great about this. Let's start the fight. Let's start the fight. Now, tank army in first, other armies to get into position. We've got debuffs, we've got buffs, we've got rage tanking. I feel very good about everything that's about to happen here. I feel very good about everything that's about to happen here. We could have maybe timed this strike a little bit better, but there's no AoE that we need to worry about. Is there? Wait. Yeah, Saladin doesn't do AoE, so we don't have to sweat that. We can just get in on the fight and let the fireworks fly, baby. Can we outlast, with T5 infantry, 25% army expansion, 5% defense token, can we handle level 80 expedition? So far, so good. This is only going to get better and better for us from a tanking standpoint as we do work on this commander. If we outpace their damage, then obviously we win, but also our sustain will outlast, and here you see that's starting to happen, that our sustain is going to start to outlast the amount of damage output that they can do, and in a worst case, we'd run the army away, and try to let some of the other armies that are here tank. Now, once Khan gets below 50%, we're going to see some of his other skills start to activate. The fourth skill activates when he's below 50%. The third skill activates when he's above 70%. And there's, of course, dead time between 50 and 70%. But this is looking really, really good for the hero. This is looking really good for us. Overall, I love that they've added new levels. I love that they've added new levels to the expedition. Totally fun to do. Love getting the extra currency. That's all upside. So every single day, we're going to get extra currency now. And, gosh, I'm pretty happy about this. Later today, we're going to try to live stream again. We had a problem today where I think the challenges with YouTube streaming isn't working. So we'd hope to stream and cover everything in the update and do this live. But we'll be on later tonight. We're going to cover everything in this new update, and there is so much to talk about, and there's a lot of strategy. We'll talk about the new commanders, of course, as well, and I'm very, very excited to do that. Genghis Khan, you've been a worthy opponent, but our commanders are overpowered. Our T5 troops do serious work. Thank you for playing, Genghis Khan. I'll see you later. My friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like and subscribe. And until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.